Hi, this is Lisa Guthrie, 10507 Aurora Avenue North, Seattle, Washington, 98133. Recorded earlier, I was trying to eat dinner, and I was this location, Unit 329 is where I live, and I've been terrorized in this building, including the managers and the property managers have let the scummy blood gang members hang out in an area behind my apartment. Well, it wraps around the apartment, and they've used it to try to terrorize me, and they've dumped toxins in my water, which bleached my hands. The list is it's endless, but tonight I was having to listen to all sorts of threats, including the usual rape and slavery threats, and the "you're going to give us money" threats, the extortion threats, threats of quote marriage to ugly retarded bums in the building, just on and on. And so I turn on the broadcast, and it tends to quiet down things because those don't want to be recognized. And the word retard is actually, it's a very word. It perfectly denotes the average coward that is a gang member. And by the way, these bums connect with where I go and volunteer sometimes, and that's Elizabeth Gregory House. That's a women's day shelter, and a couple, well, I'm not going to volunteer, I'm not going to say how many. It's probably all of them. Connect with the Bloods. It's pretty much, I woke up 13 years ago and everybody was a Satanist and a Bloods gang member or Zeta or some other kind of gang member. So, by the way, if you believe in Psi, as in, in ESP, in paranormal, the bums they don't have their own brain. They're about 80 IQ, and they enjoy stealing. Years ago, also steal etheric body, soul. They didn't have a spirit, and they won't have them. They've stolen mine, and it's like whenever they're doing it, they're stealing psychic intent. So let's say you steal someone's arm and do it, and then that person gets blamed. But in my head, there's a psychic channel open for me, but these bums have used it. Some of the bums are retarded black Nazis, but also they're retarded white people and retarded other black people. And one of the bums is now threatening England. They're at this location. They were threatening to bite the head off of, I think, a rabbit. And they were then talking about hamsters. And they've also threatened, such as England, Scotland, Ireland, Wales, other places, such as Europe. They've threatened Turkey, Greece. They've threatened other parts of the UK. They've threatened Russia. They threatened Japan. I've even threatened, other people in the Middle East, Jews. They've threatened Muslims. And you will hear people, and there are a couple creeps threatening, including that were threatening, and they live near the smoking area. This apartment looks out on the smoking area. I'm very tired right now. Tiredness hits me. I've got chronic fatigue, but also It's terribly boring to listen to evil day after day, but not only evil that actually think they're bigger than they are. Something about these zombies, they they think that they're actually smarter or better looking than they are. They shake about them. They have set themselves up as judges. They're really inferior bums. They were in to the spirit world that and tortured, and they're inferiors to the world. They're certainly my inferior. And for 13 years, they tried to treat me as though I were the inferior, but they didn't have their own soul. They didn't have their own chakras, and so it's dirt and garbage and filth that they have, and all. The truth is, most gang members are mentally retarded, and 30 years ago, when people used the word mentally retarded, it would have applied to most gang members and one of the bums is playing England and Bow Down to Me. And, so he wants actual people that are smart and normal or nice to bow down to excrement. He's excrement. It's a dirty, retarded black Nazi. All black Nazis are dirty, retarded morons. And when I mean dirty, I mean as in corrupt. Just like the rest of the morons in the Bloods. They're just morons. There's nothing smart or there's actually nothing about them that's good. And or. So and Elizabeth, her name is Moyette. She'll be working with people if she won't have cancer. She told me that my money is hers today. This is Bloods. There were bums telling her everything. And this is typical, again, of black Nazis and Bloods. And we're talking about things that nobody owes money for. The bums will tell you that you owe money for listening to music. To the grocery store and you paid for your dinner. You're supposed to pay the bums for the dinner that you paid for. These are dirty, filthy, stinking bums. They cannot live alone. And they need supervision because they're such retardos. You'll generally find the gang members around social services because they are such retardos. And one of them is calling it mutiny. It's absolutely not mutiny because mutiny didn't. These are dirty bums who tell everybody they're government. They have nothing except all retarded bums. Every last one of them. They're all and they'll be the first person to tell you that they're state police and CIA as they're masturbating behind the shower wall in the closet. In fact, there's a couple people who work here that do that, but that's America's deadly secret. If you're mentally ill, if you're on drugs, they'll hide the mental illness. whore. She's actually, and I think it's a whore named Stephanie. She's injected herself and made her arm useless. All dirty, filthy Satanists at this location, and also at Elizabeth Go. But they all have bodily fluid fetishes and fetishes cannibal. They have fetishes definitely about different body parts and people's blood and fluid. And mind walking around with someone's hand in their purse, you know, like it wouldn't faze them a bit. One of the bums just told me he had a gun, and Stephanie and her John's always brag about a gun, and I've actually heard them hawking them in the janitor's room. She's a smelly product. She's white. Men to get technical about the whole thing. I think in common they'll tell you that they are government, and they'll tell you they're police of some sort or an attorney. They're not. They're mentally retarded, drug addicts and drunks. Stephanie goes here. She got it red, and she likes to hang out on the. She's gotten a little fatter lately, sort of hair shape. Maybe from Dollar Tree, and acts like she's normal or nice, and just hard on her, down on her luck. A psychotic child molester. She's actually, as she talked about, molesting little boys. Only Satanists, child molesters. They are they're into torture, and one of their favorite things to talk about is how they torture Frank Galliano. It's a dirty, stinky bum, and he's referring to blood. Yeah. To threaten people with rape, let them. There's a doctor affiliated with this mess. His name is Dr. Guthrie. He is involved in human slavery, prostitution, forced prostitution, rape, mutilation, disabilities. He's involved in child molestation and pornography rings. Some of these people, I don't know how directly they have molested children, but some of them have absolutely bragged that they have. Lived here, some evidence. One woman here talked about cannibalism and chopping up people in the market. I think it was the same person. I refer to the high place market. Doesn't say this at the market. They never the restaurants at the market, quote, exotic meat butcher. I certainly was threatened by weirdos. There's a talking about a false claim. One of them. So the bums that are Bloods and other gang members, they like to pretend that there is a relationship, and it actually the victim then isn't discovered. Some time to get away with the victim, bury her or him, she or he, hear better if there's a false relationship, obviously. Their relationship with any of these people, This is the relationship address. A stick in front of that. That is the relationship. Motion detectors to let me know these bums in as they've threatened to do, which they threatened to saw through the walls. Crime to do what where people have their apartment or their house, the structure, and people then can pop up through a floorboard, a bit of tile, or some filthy evidence. Lasered out. I've seen it. I've also seen females lift up a patty male. Was a bloods as well. These people do it. They'll argue as to why. Like one of them's threatening mutilation. So all these be locked up. Well, I would talk about I would say that man from recovery, that Dr. Jaffe, who likes to pretend people are crazy when they tell on sexual crazy for telling on those people. I would suggest that he needs to be along with the property managers. And there's a bum talking about, and our names repeatedly, and they're playing in some cases. She was a sort of a slutty, ugly heroin addict at the Gilman Place Apartments. And maybe even illegal surveillance. She's poor, and she's got dyed red hair. She smells of sort of cheap cigarettes, cheap perfume, fecal and urine. To tell you she's not. Blood, she's probably on just. And who lifted out the picture window by herself. She was about 6 feet tall, and she was, or is actually, and Kathy Cox and William Smith was Catholic, black male, not attractive. Variety of other psychos at that area too. Those were cottages. They had a woman named Nell. It's sort of an interesting to remember how to spell it, and just a very odd last name, not usual. And she and her psychotic boyfriend and her psychotic pretend they were the government. And I even heard them through the open window. It was hot out one night, and calling people back with a recording of their voice. And they had a dirty cop who liked them, or two. I don't know if the other cops were caught at games. I imagine a couple were. But perhaps there were some innocent ones as well. False government scheme where they've got semi-professionals and professional patients and druggies that will go out and spread some sort of agenda, whether it's, oh, we're going to arrest so-and-so, and then they've got a bunch. Well, it's a very real phenomena. It's been used for it. It'll be hell when I don't call the police moron pretending they can take my BI, sting like any homeless person would that hasn't bathed in a week. And they look like a bleary-eyed drunk. Fairly also, they can get a place would be social services will treat. So, here comes the $1,200 suit from Mary's for the prostitute. Presto, good hairstyle, free up from Mary's. Then suddenly it's not looking like a prostitute anymore. The person is posh. Oh, she gets $100 laptop or made free. Ooh, professional police. The stinking prostitute that's maybe arrested for gang schemes. Kathy Cox and her family were certainly in on this. And, I think this one woman's boyfriend, he worked at the bank, and he looked like a sort of not the same features, but a Norman Bates type. Is how I would describe him. Oh, and all guests together, were they? Oh, no. And Kathy Cox, remember, talked about her before. She thought she was a big nurse. Apparently, she'd only been a nurse's aide at a school that had been shut down. And Nicole Wilkes thought she was in the government. And Kathy Cox's daughter, Emily, she thought she worked for the government. She was on welfare, I believe. The daycare center worker. She was a government job. And, she loved that white Jeep or whatever it was, the white minivan, which, that's a fake of the people that posture as police, a vehicle, one, or some sort of vehicle that looks similar to a police car, maybe once was a police car, maybe even having a vehicle that is an actual ambulance vehicle, or one that is over even 30, 40 years old and no longer in use. You get a few of them and press going on. And that's how some people have disappeared mysteriously. Now, Nicole, that manager at Burr-Gilman, I found a long black hair which sort of matched that hair that she had at that time period. And, I didn't have it analyzed. I put it in my apartment, and we fell out. She was kind of nice to me at first, but evidently very because I had to target me. I had sensitivities and environmental sensitivities. Complain about the mold that Nicole Wilkes threatened with a gun because of that. And she used her friends, Kathy Cox and Will Smith. And by the way, the bumps here, I mentioned those people also because with Kathy Cox. And I believe, even though I had a restraining against Kathy, it's called an anti-harassment order, they run out after her. But her here. It's sort of too far. An addict and heroin addicts here, and they tend to go to the same, a methadone clinic to get their, quote, dose. I myself do not take drugs or alcohol. Well, there's more to Nicole. They threatened me with Nicole in the Burr-Gilman Place area because some of those are not taking the bedroom townhome. Anybody try area, just know that Nicole Wilkes, who was once manager, would probably things got quiet. I don't hear a moron going as much. There's a bum talking about Irishmen other countries. The reason why they're threatening also, they're bragging about people they've taken in the spirit world. Believe it. So I'm mopping. I actually have to clean this apartment when I get settled for the night because bombs have been stink, but they've also purposely infested my belongings with. You don't want to walk around or even touch the toilet seat before you wash things. If anything open in this apartment and come back to it, it gets quite complex. But I was here about 3 days, and I noticed the door found cigarettes and was cut pretty badly, including on my face by glass that was sprinkled. Bombs also sprinkled me with glass, following me to other locations. It's actually very people who, some, until that moment, they were sprinkled, and glass will just sort of relieving any blood. And you'll notice the crime occurring when you sort of wonder why people are invading your body space, and sometimes they make a flinging motion. Sometimes they'll aim for your bag or your like your book bag, your seat. Well, why would they do that? Because act with glass yourself or take your pants or shirt off and then touch your face. The coat comes in contact with your face. The article with the glass on it is tossed casually on the bed. Then you put your head on the block where the glass is now there, and just one particle will cut your face. Chanting about here with you're going to give your kidneys. And I've actually heard some of the bombs at 10507 Aurora Avenue North, Seattle, chanting, but talking about how, everybody would get 1,000, you'll get X amount if you get, when we get our kidney out, sick and pale, and something, not tell a soul, and just walk around suffering with a slit in my back. That's not my style. There's a moron chanting 8,000 hot dog. 8,000 for a hot dog. So trying to act as if he can charge people for what they don't owe him. And I woke up 13 years ago, and every Satanist gang member that was a cannibal zombie, believe it or not, with a vampire fetish, and they were doing black magic and worse. Tardo just said $1,000 a hot dog. He's telling them, they're then turning around and saying, you're victimizing us, you're a Nazi, you're harassing us, you're evil. That of the criminal, the cannibal gang member, they will often act as if you're evil. If you tell what they want, then you're evil. They actually, it gets pretty far-fetched, but they try these years. Probably tape all night due to the high threats of breaking in and enslaving and rape and torture. we'll just inject you. You won't know it, they said. I believe that actually happened 13 years ago, and possibly at Burke Gilman Place Apartments. It's a common gang crime, more common than you think to happen to women, especially any active or to blackmail and humiliate. The gang members will claiming that I'm sure it happens else. As a prostitute, they'll stage pictures with your nude body, and then here they have allegedly they have hidden cameras, and I believe it means they're bloods. Well, why would the fire department just allow the equipment? The gang members make like you are having sexual encounters. A male, he's one of the ugly dark, and he was talking about he would brand how he would move around to make it look like with him. Stare, of course, inject with a needle. But I'm sure gang members have postured around that problem before. And then they'll also pull things like, I know that they've tried to do it with me, where they, so when you were, and before that, actually quite a number of years. And so I wasn't interested, so pulling me around also, people say, oh, you're so nasty, you're slut. I used to think, oh gosh, I hope that, the person isn't know that I'm telling the truth. Know that, I just want people to know I'm not a whore. I don't really know, because America is a bunch of gross, retarded zombies. They fell with Satan 13 years ago. They are zombies. They were dead for 12 minutes. SP Network. And that game of, oh gosh, I hope the next person doesn't believe that rumor. I'm not going to play it. I'm not going to worry about it. And there's nothing to worry about, except my own survival. I don't worry about impressing morons. Everybody was an 80 IQ moron after, Satan resurrected them. And that leads me to another topic. There is a very component of that where they'll actually take brains, either in the form of a crystal or actual brains, and they will also use ESP. Basically, new discoveries that the ESP allowed these people to see and hear the spirit. In etheric attacks, and remember, have their own chakras. They're bragging about units, have a blood fetish. They sort of set up supposedly see more the invisible and be other worlds. And the thing, you have to go to that length to see that other world. What does that tell you? Satan, to get you to be as evil as possible. There is no turning back to looking innocent, being to being normal after that. And they're calling themselves saying, I have been for my blood, even in a physical way. And it's just your body. It's not. It's just sometimes gain power. All inferiors all of them. All of them. And they were part of Satan's design to have mass destruction of the earth, planets, and moons, and they have destroyed nature, nations, history. They are all psychotic. No normal person. You can't have normal from the dead by Satan. It doesn't work. Even if he's tried to make people pretty or seem positive or nice or in a very... And there are about 20 zombie personality types that I've heard, and seem to have the male personality types include of all colors, different types of animal. Like if you could hear them psychically, you would hear people that sound like angry bears from a cartoon, or retarded thugs, from a cartoon. That's what you'll hear over and over in the U.S. They're not smart. They're not bright. There's nothing human left, but they're trying to live on this sort of artificially created, like, everything, they're Satanists. Day I hear someone chanting about Lucifer. It might even be a person that you hear chanting about Lucifer. Thought I just, which stretches around the bathroom and also the kitchen. There's no in this apartment. Whoops. Uh-oh. My motion detector isn't even anywhere to go off. Mom's is telling me what I'm going to do, and no, I won't. The police and the FBI on the bastard. You're know they care about toilet paper when it's being given him by management. That's the secret of the members. They're around social service, not because they're clever and behind social services. They have to have them. They cannot have services because they are mentally retarded. And even before the fall of Satan, this was true. Many of the members are product of fetal alcohol syndrome. They have anomalies, including alcohol syndrome, to from people. So the dictates that I don't take, especially from retarded. And these are nothing more than retarded, evil people. They're just me. They're retarded scum. Tried to pretend they were, and they tried to pretend they judge everybody, and that they pretended. Shut up, you. They've got all these fetishes, and he keeps chanting about sun, this. There is no sun. I've never had a child. Black Nazis and the other scum are involved in schemes of false relationships, including promoting somebody by a gang member, rape, they're promoting. And in my case, so to enter my apartment and promote a relationship, there's no relationship. I'm not attracted to these. I don't have to be. Even if we hadn't fallen, which I was ripped down here by the Satan, I still don't have to prove garbage, or I sleep with garbage that's not something, I don't have to prove. It's not just black people that are garbage to me. It's every gross gang member, zombie freak. same time, I have to be to black people. Just like if I don't have to sleep with an ugly drunk, I don't have to. That's my right to not have to sleep with garbage. And to be able to choose who I want. And anybody who tries to force themselves on you, knowing you're not attracted to them, that's garbage. And it makes me kind of wonder about gang members the last 4 years, and how many relationships are actually just people that were forced, including black Nazis that forced whites or others into relationships they didn't want. I don't want, and the ugly white in this building, including Stephanie, she was a high, and you could smell her through the wall. I wouldn't hang out with her if she was the last person on earth. Now, she tried to force me to hang out with her. Would I do that? No, there's no reason to. I don't have to. Shut up. Just shut the hell up. Shut up. You're all garbage to me. That's all. Shut up. Garbage. So Stephanie is small because she with these HIV and AIDS that and hepatitis that try to force themselves on people. Them. There's nothing to offer. And so she thinks she's a big bad woman, and oh yeah, she's gonna force that. I wouldn't hang out with stinky, smelly, with nothing to offer. What do you have to offer, ugly whore? You're evil. Nobody likes you. I don't have to be attracted to well, I'm not a lesbian females that are. Oh, and by the way, of course, nice retarded people. These are people. They're like orcs, but not as powerful. One of the whores, she's her, and she say, "Have you John?" That's a word they made up that apparently means defeated or cowed or something. We never really get it. Oh, and I shouldn't even use that word John for retarded people. And guarantee that ugly whore that's talking about the word Jund, she's been lately whoring. Shut up. Moms thought that I would hang out with them after they scarred me with glass and ruined by putting toxins in my water. It bleached my hands. They're mottled. Too gross. I could be 800 pounds. A circus free for them. Ugly bums to mark me and on top of me. So I think I'll call this a freak for a bit. I'll be back on.